I call this step down the most perfect exercise that I know of. I've been saying it for 15 years. That out of all the exercises I've ever seen or done, this is the most perfect thing. And the reason why to me is because we are vertical beings and we are dealing with this thing called gravity every day that we stand up to do something. And it's the epitome of what's necessary for movement. John brings up the spine, and I'll talk about how the spine influences one of the dynamic properties of this step down. Okay, and so I'm going to perform a step down. Now, let's clarify. A step down is different than a step up. Okay, a step up would be to step up on this step. Okay, and to step off of it, simply to step off of it. Totally different exercise or movement, but it looks just the same. Okay? A step down requires me to go through a eccentric contraction of the quad. Okay? Which is very important to me, especially in a rehab application. With respect to the patella tendon and the quad tendon and how it's functioning when I am lowering my body under control to a destination. Is this a 12-inch right now? Anyway, yeah. 10 or 12? 14. Really? As I move my body into this step down, and I'm going to go over all that's going on right now, but just quickly, we're talking about muscles right now and how the muscles are functioning here. As I move and descend into this step down, my quad is actually getting longer. So it's eccentrically contracting, right? Okay, because it's getting longer. My knee is going into flexion, pulling and lengthening through my quad and patella tendon. Right? But the thing about that is I'm loading the quadricep and some other muscles that we're going to talk about with my body weight. So it is on contraction, and there's a lot of resistance, 188 pounds of it right now, right? And it's shortening, going into its concentric phase, right? And I like to finish the step up with a high knee. I'm going to do two varieties of a step down, okay? And one is going to be poor, the other is going to be correct, okay? Correct in how I like to teach it and see it done. So this is what I see a lot. Okay, this is what I like to see. Big difference. Dynamically, polar opposites, really. Okay? Right? As opposed to, it's a challenge. Okay? So, let's talk about the dynamics, the obvious dynamics. That I did was what you almost said was a flexed, weak spine. Okay? So, again, we're vertical beings. I want you guys to think that what we do upright, standing up. Movement. When it comes to movement, normally it's on your feet. Okay? And your spine is like a relay bridge, obviously through the central nervous system and all the nerve pathways, okay? But it is transferring so much proprioceptive information, okay, from everywhere. Feet, toes, ankles, knees, on up the kinetic chain, okay? This is a kinetic chain extravaganza what's happening here. And for me, the spine it communicates good or bad positioning, posture. Okay, so when you said rounded shoulders, think more weak or spine flexion. Okay, so when I drop my sternum, right, my spine has gone into flexion. Let's just get clear about what it is that you want them to understand about their body awareness. Okay, and normally when we deal with our clients, we're dealing with 2 legs, 1 spine, and 2 arms. I say it over and over again. Okay, my legs are what connect me to the ground, in which we establish our vertical posture or position from. Okay, my legs are transferring all the energy, all the balance, leverage from the ground through the kinetic chain up into my hips, which is at the bottom of my spine. Okay, so my extremities, arms and legs, are attached to my spine through my hips and my shoulders, right? So if I have great proprioception of them, my extremities and my spine, then I have so much more body awareness and control of my space around me. Okay, so my spine is it. Dude, if I do a step down, okay, and I keep my spine in line, I got a strong sternum here. Okay, it's easy to balance from this position. But what if I do a step down and I purposely displace my shoulders, thereby I have to move my spine to do so. So I'm going to go to a little lateral tilt. Okay, now I'm going to do a step down. Okay, this is a very difficult step down to do. Okay, here, it's a very difficult step down to do. Okay, I put I'm going to move my shoulders, front side, back side, from my hips, displacing my spine to do this step. Okay, it makes it so much more difficult. Okay, so reflection of the hip. Okay, then take your descend down, going through a eccentric contraction in the quad. I don't say that to them, but lower yourself down, flex the foot that you're stepping down onto, no transfer of weight. Okay, my heel is touching the floor as lightly as I'm touching my eyelash right now. Okay, and I drive from my spine through my glute and quad back to the top of the motion. I go into hip flexion and knee flexion. Okay, totally different motion than this. Drop my spine. Okay, see how my pelvis drops? Okay, it's, to me, you'll get some benefit from that, but why do something half-ass? You're gonna get half-ass results. Take you twice as long to get to where you're trying to go. That's a good question. This should be done before you get into like heavy or even moderate leg training. Okay, because again, this is therapeutic. This is corrective. Okay, this is has rehabilitation application to it. This is a clinical exercise. The step down. This isn't a gym exercise. This is a clinical exercise. Okay, And the benefits of it, is that number 3, Jason? Yeah, the benefits. Okay, now we're moving into the benefits. There are so many benefits to this movement. First of all, let's talk about the patella. Okay, condition called chondromalacia. Are you familiar? Okay, we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because I will guarantee you that you have, especially you, have clients who have chondro. It is one of the benefits, one of the many benefits to this step down. So many benefits to it. Is it helps correct and realign the patella in the femoral groove, how the patella should slide in its groove. Okay? Some people who have a knee pain or joint line pain, their patellas are sliding in their groove on a tilt, either medially or laterally, or even tilted anteriorly or posteriorly. Okay? We want that thing to lay flat so that it is properly gliding in the groove without any type of grinding or roughening underneath it, which would there be in the articulating surface. Huh? All right? See, that's why it's multiple joint. I mean, everybody's benefiting here. We're just not going to cut the ankle off or the hip off. You can't get none of this goodness that's going on for the knee. That's not how the body works naturally. We're a component system. We don't break it down. That's why I don't like machines that don't encompass, you know, almost full body movement. It doesn't have to be a complete body movement, but it's got to be multiple joint. Otherwise, for me, this is a waste of time. Not unless it's, you know, a therapeutic application, you know, and you want to isolate, and that has its purpose for sure. Right? Rotator cuff isolation, we talked about earlier. Okay? You got to have that. You got to have that. But as far as addressing movement overall and what the step down benefits, okay? I mean, what else could you benefit from this? I'll give you a hint. But that's true. Running. How many things do we do that require running? It's endless, right? I mean, the benefits are crazy. It's the most perfect exercise in the world to me. I mean, you know, some people might like Zumba. They say Zumba is the one-stop all for me. That's all I need to do. You can't Zumba without your knees. You can't Zumba without your hips and your ankle, your feet. Can't do it. Okay? If you want to enhance any movement that you are required to stand up, the step down is at the root. This is it. This is where it starts. Does that about cover the benefits of it?